Hey, welcome to the True North Country Comics podcast. We're dedicated to promote Canadian comic book creators and supporters. I'm John Swinimer. On this episode, I will be at Wayside Creator Con, taking place in Newmarket, Ontario. For anyone who wants to continue with following along, you might want to check out our social media. That's at True North Country Comics, and we're on YouTube videos, YouTube podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. For this event in Newmarket, it's at the Market Brewing Company, and I'm going to be talking to a lot of creators here, entertainment, gaming, you name it, they're all here. But my focus will be on the comic book creators as well. Wayside Creator Con is organized and managed by Wayside Comics in Newmarket. I'm going to be talking to Omar Sayer, who's the organizer, owner of Wayside Comics and this event. So let's see what he has to say.
So at Wayside, we are a very creator-forward shop, and one of the things we love to do is support people doing creative things. The comics industry itself it's very different now than it was 15 years ago. Anybody can publish things. It's more accessible. You don't need a big publisher to do things. And there's a lot of people doing a lot of amazing things out there. So we really like to showcase kind of what's out there, and especially in Canada, we have such amazingly talented people. So like myself, I come from a film background, and Canadians are very shunted in the film business. It's very hard to get funding. The biggest guys in Canada apply for the same grant funding as the little guys. And it's one of those, unless your foot's in the door, it's a little hard to do. And here with the comics world, it's kind of a nameless thing. You don't know where people are from, and it's amazing to see just how many amazing Canadian creators are out there. From the big guys to the little guys, and there's just so many amazing stories to tell, and we want to be able to do our part in getting those stories out there. And that's kind of what Wayside Creator Con's about. I would say it's a celebration of comic books and the people who make them. And at our shop, we're all about community. It's kind of why we have a bar in our shop. It's not about we will have a bar. It's part of that aspect is to have a place where people can actually talk about comics. Maybe your friends aren't geeky people. Maybe they don't like what you like. So you can go there. Everyone who walks into our shop, everyone's on the same level. So it's super easy to have a conversation with people. And we've built a lot of amazing friendships because of that. So for this event in itself, what Wayside Creator Con is all about is putting the emphasis on the community part of the comics community. That's why we're in a brewery. That's why we're trying to take our shop experience and do it on a bigger level. It's just one of those things. Sometimes you're at a con and you only have, a brief interaction with people because everyone's kind of hitting you and you're kind of it's very fast-paced. It's very transactional sometimes. I don't believe in transactional business. I like to build relationships. So we want to take that kind of experience and do it at a con where hopefully, having a drink in your hand is disarming. If you've ever been to a house party, you don't know who to talk to. You're just kind of standing there, but it's like your security blanket. And that's kind of what it's about. We're really hoping that conversations break out and you can talk to people on a different level here and have more than maybe a minute or two to talk to creators, and hopefully conversations will break out, and that's what it's all about. We just want the community to grow. Yeah. And this is a pilot for a bigger project we have in mind next year.
And where can people go to find out more about what you're doing here?
They can always check us out so we pretty much run on social media. Wayside Comics on Instagram is the best place to find us. Wayside Comics and Cocktails on Facebook. But that's where we share everything. We just put up a website for just general information about the shop, waysidecomics.square.space. But yeah, that's pretty much where they can find us. It's a funny thing. So one of the things about our shop that's a little different is I don't really believe in having too big of an online presence. So people always ask, well, don't you have an online store? I'm like, that kind of defeats the purpose of a shop like ours. You have to come to the shop. You have to be embraced into the space and kind of become a part of the conversation. So that's what we encourage with where we are. And that's what I encourage you to do. If you want to go somewhere to talk comics, drink beer, I make cocktails at the bar. That's kind of my specialty. But just meet some genuinely nice people who are also big comic fans. Come out to Wayside Comics and Cocktails. It's a pretty good time.
Well, thanks to Omar for sharing his thoughts about the Wayside Creator Con taking place at Market Brewing Company here in Newmarket, and thanks to Omar's team for putting on a great event. Now, I want to introduce you to the various creators who are here at the event, and I only ask them one question, and is, what's the most important tool for creating and writing and illustrating? And let's see what they have to say.
A pencil. I need a pencil. As much as I love working in watercolors or ink, just give me a simple pencil and paper and I can draw all day. It's one of the things I tell all of my students. When we're ever short on supplies, just give me a pencil and paper and we can work.
Any special type of pencil?
I'm partial to a Staedtler mechanical pencil. They've lasted. I have these mechanical pencils since I was in high school. I have one in particular that has lasted, and that's got to be at least 32, 33 years. And they still hold. And there's something about it, the comfort and fit from back in the day that I just still long for.
Well, I start my writing with a pen and a notebook, unlike a lot of people who go straight to the laptop. I find sometimes typing on the laptop things disappear, and if it's in a notebook, you can retrieve it a lot easier.
And is it a portable notebook that you have with you when thoughts strike, or do you have to set aside time of the day specifically to write?
I usually go to a local coffee shop a couple of days a week for a couple of hours and just write them.
Coffee.
Any special type of coffee?
Hot. And plenty.
Is it decaf?
No. That's not real.
Oh, what is the one tool? The Control-Z function on my computer, the undo tool, is essential. You got to be willing to revise as you go along.
The one tool is probably just my pencil. I often take a lot of notes throughout the day, so whenever I think of a new idea, concept, just jot it down, and then I try to sketch it out and pass it along later on.
Do you have any special type of pencil that you prefer?
Yeah, for me it's always just your standard utility pencil.
So anything you pick off the shelf works for you?
Yeah, exactly. Anything.
Unfortunately, it's my computer. I wish it was a pencil or a pen or paper or something like that, but it happens to be the computer at this point. So
What's your preference, Mac or PC?
I'm a Mac. I'll use my iPad. I use paper. I'll sketch on paper, put it on the iPad, or put it on the computer, and then I refine it on the computer.
I don't
so
think
I use
I've ever seen that before in my life.
My hands. Right, because I'll do things digitally. I've been working more traditional stuff. I'll use an Etch-a-Sketch sometimes too. So I got a zine right there for it. But yeah, it's I try to make a picture with pretty much anything. So I would need my hands, and if I didn't have them, I'd probably use my feet and my mouth, whatever.
Do you do any special exercises with your hands? Because sometimes we can get cramped up sometimes.
I like taekwondo. That usually makes my body be able to do anything. If that doesn't happen in my life, then it's hard for me to do anything really. So I start with that.
So I'm the writer, not the artist. And Scrivener is the tool I use to write all my comics with. It's don't get me wrong, you can use physical paper, you can use 1,000,001 different writing tools online, whether it's Word or Google Docs or whatever it has to be. But Scrivener allows you to not only break it out page by page, but it can have your outline on the side. It has research notes, character notes, everything. And then whenever you would just want to push it out, it will compile it all page by page. It's essential just to make sure everything comes together.
Does that help you then communicate your story to the artist?
Yes. So I mean, it's not as collaborative, say, as a live Google Doc would be, but it's so easy to export a script every time you make a change. It's nice because it allows you can segment it and show cue cards to say here's how the storyboard works in my head as the writer, and he can tell me that doesn't make any sense at all. But it does really help match the script with the panels, with the dialogue, with the themes that we're trying to hit on each beat, kind of thing. So it's an invaluable tool for sure.
Cheto, what's the one tool you can't do without when you're creating comic books?
One tool? Ooh. My pencils and my, now I'm going digital, so my drawing stylus.
Okay. Is there any special preference you have for pencil or stylus?
Right now, stylus because I could do corrections easily.
And that's the Apple Pencil?
No, unfortunately, I have a Huey on a drawing tablet. And I do have an Apple Pencil, but I'm not used to it yet.
So I use Scrivener to write. It really helps get things in order. I have a lot of thoughts in that, and you're really trying to plan out series and things. Scrivener is like a, must-have tool for writers specifically. Can't recommend it enough.
And how does that help you with working with artists?
It helps working with artists because it keeps a lot in order, right? It's when you want to overshare sometimes and really tell them the whole story. It's good if you could organize it in a way that makes sense so that your message is getting across to the person that's making it all happen.
Ooh, let's see. I mean, it's going to be a notebook, I suppose. Like, that's something that you can literally just scribble things down in and take with you everywhere. I'm a very visual thinker, so I like to be able to, even though I'm a terrible artist, I like to be able to like draw like charts and things of my stories. So yeah, pen and paper, classic.
Any special type of notebook you take with you? A size matter at all?
What? Nope. It's whatever I can find that I've bought years ago and is lying cluttering up a space in my house. I don't need to buy another notebook for years.
One tool I can't do without. Well, right now, I guess like tool-wise, I do a lot of my work in Procreate. So it'd be my iPad and my Apple Pencil.
Why do you choose Procreate over anything else?
Right now, it's what I found about it is that, especially working digitally, for me, it's felt the closest to working in traditional. For the longest time, I've held off on working digitally because of that. Yeah. I don't think it was an overcharge thing. Now I can't remember what it was like with that.
That's a good question. I'd have to say my Cintiq. I have a Wacom Cintiq, and I love using it. It's glorious. It allows me to kind of set up perspective grids and makes the drawing process a lot easier.
Does it help you collaborate with others?
It's actually an interesting question. I've never really thought of it that way, but I guess when it comes to like working on projects for clients, it allows me, because I work in layers and I just work straight off the screen, it saves me with time, and then if I have to make changes, it's a lot easier to do that.
I mean, right now it's probably my drawing program, Clip Studio Paint. I'm very comfortable with it. I am too old to learn other programs at this point, so yeah, we gotta go with Clip Studio.
Coffee. I would say I like a nice blonde roast, something that's got some fruity notes, but gets you a kick. I like that caffeine driving right to the cortex.
So not decaffeinated at all?
No. You might as well just tell me to drink moose pee, which I've heard has health principles.
I think the obvious answer is pen and paper, but that's maybe like a little like old school of me. But I love to brainstorm on pen and paper. It just like something about writing everything down on the page just unlocks a lot. So truly, that is still something that I do to this day, and I will not give up my plethoras of notebooks ever.
Probably my iPad. The Procreate app which I draw in. It's very intuitive. I've learned Photoshop first, but I think iPad is more compact and I can do it on the go.
I live on the computer all day, so that's the easy answer to that. My tablet, I like to have Netflix on in the background constantly. It's very distracting and it affects my workflow all the time, but the silence is just too deafening.
So Mark, what's the one tool you can't do without when you're creating your comic book?
One tool I cannot do without Grammarly.
So this is important because you want your words to come across properly?
No, it's important because I find as a writer, I know what I'm writing. I know what my script is supposed to say. So I like the error checking. It's like a built-in editor. So I don't use it for its AI. I like to write my own stuff. But I like the spell check feature of Grammarly. So that's my key tool right there.
I think just my phone. Which I don't know if that's a great answer, but I usually write my ideas on this thing, do my research on this thing, look at pretty pictures that I send to Jason on this thing. So yeah, I'd say my phone. Kids out there, get yourself a phone.
The chip on my shoulder that says, yes, Mom and Dad, I can make comics. That's what it, yeah. That's the only thing I can really think of as far as one thing that gets me through the rest of it. Because obviously pencil and paper are necessary, as is my computer and scanner and all those other pieces. But if I didn't have the arrogance to think I could do it, I don't think I would be able to even start.
Oh my goodness. Cintiq. Yeah, I draw a lot of my Cintiq. Clip Studio Paint. Cintiq, yeah.
Why did you choose Clip Studio Paint? Was there anything else?
They just had like great drawing tools right out of the box, like superior to Photoshop, and just I don't know, the lines just kind of laid down better in Clip Studio, and I just fell in love with it. And plus, it was nice to like buy a program and own it, and not pay monthly.
This brush pen, that the name escapes me. It's a ink brush pen that I use for pretty much everything.
How long have you been using it for?
3-4 years now, and I've used the brush pen before that, a Pentel pocket brush, and I love that, and this one's even better. It's another Pentel brush, but
Then why does the brush suit your needs better than anything else?
I think just the expression and movement I try to get in my art. It's the best thing and my favorite thing to try to get something that looks alive, I guess. Yeah.
I'm going to say my brain, because if my brain didn't exist, I would not only not exist myself, but the books wouldn't be created. So I'm going to say my brain, and I guess my fingers for the writing. Yeah.
Thanks to all the creators for speaking with me today. Wonderful time to just find out a little bit more about what their great tools are for creating and sharing that information with you. I'd also like to thank Omar Sayer and his team at Wayside Comics for putting on a great event, and the team at Market Brewing Company in Newmarket. I'd also like to thank you for tuning in to True North Country Comics. You can follow along True North Country Comics on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, and YouTube Video. And we're on social media at True North Country Comics. You can send any comments, questions, or criticisms to John at TrueNorthCountryComics.com. Thanks for tuning in. And please come back soon for another podcast. Bye for now.